This is what you need to get, and that's wisdom. What you need to esteem is wisdom. And what you need to embrace, just draw to yourself, God is saying, is wisdom. The wisdom that I'm ready to give to you. Get wisdom. One night, long ago, a young man by the name of Solomon was faced with an almost superhuman job as the appointed king over God's people. And you can read all about this superhuman job that he thought he had, and which he did have in 2 Chronicles chapter 1. You can also read about it in the book of Kings. In chapter 1 of 2 Chronicles, we're told that God made Solomon exceedingly great. And one time, after they had reset up the tent, the tabernacle tent that they had in the wilderness, they reset that up at Gibeon. And there was a bronze altar placed in front of it. And that chapter says that Solomon made 1,000 burnt offerings to God. And it pleased God. I don't understand all about that, but that pleased God. And that night God appeared to Solomon, and he said something to this king, which is probably one of the most phenomenal things that one could hear from God. And I think God still says it to you and to me. God said to Solomon, "Ask me for whatever you want me to give to you." Amazing. And what Solomon asked for is just as amazing. He said to God, "The people in my kingdom are as numerous as the dust of the earth. They are too many for me to count, and I'm supposed to lead them, and I really don't think I know what to do." I'm interpreting what he must have meant when he went to God with this prayer. And so he said, "Lord, I would like wisdom so that I can lead." And that pleased God. And my friends, let me say right now, I can't think of a single other thing more important than for you and for me to pray about than to ask God for this gift. In more than one place in the Bible, we're told that Solomon was the wisest man who ever lived, and that no one would ever again be wiser than he was. It's little wonder that he wrote so much in the Bible about wisdom. And I want you to look with me just for a little bit at his approach in pleading for God's wisdom and actually wanting for people around him to get it. If you got your Bible open, take a look. Chapter 4. Actually, this starts off with like a dad. And dads, you might want to listen to this carefully. It's like a dad calling his son aside and saying to him, "I know that you got a lot of things going on in your life. A lot of things that might interest you, a lot of things that might coax you, but I want you to try and get wisdom. I want you to try to get understanding." He says, "My father taught me and said, 'Lay hold of my words with all your heart and keep my commands, and you're going to live.' Get wisdom," verse 5, "and get understanding." I don't know all that wisdom is, but my friends, it has to do with how I utilize what goes through my brain, what use I make of it, how it applies to how I feel and how I deal with people. The first chapter of the book of Proverbs says that it's the fear of the Lord. An awesome sense of the fact that God in heaven made you and God in heaven cares about you. That's what you're supposed to get. "Do not forget my words or swerve from them. Do not forsake wisdom." Do not forsake wisdom. I'll come to the result in a little bit. Verse 7, wisdom is supreme. I don't know how to describe that any other way than God saying that's the best you can get. Wisdom is supreme, and so therefore get it. And after a while, we'll talk about how you can get it. Though it costs all that you have, get understanding. I don't know how ready I am in my heart to say, God, I would give up anything around me if you give me this. And my friends, the culture in which you and I live, I think it'll take serious prayer on the part of anybody, myself included, to say, God, that's what I want more than anything. Wisdom is supreme, so get it. And though it costs all that you have, get understanding. And then he goes on to say, and I look now at, again, verse 6 and then 8. You should get wisdom, and then you should esteem it. Esteem it. And again, sort of a complicated term, but you want to say, God, I honor the fact that you say this is something so significant in my life. Esteem wisdom, and she will exalt you. This is a thing that will lift you up, not how much money is in your pocket. You want to really be recognized by the one that it counts the most to be recognized by. Get his wisdom. Esteem it. In verse 6, he says, do not forsake wisdom, it will protect you. I look for lots of other things to protect me. God says, this is what's going to protect you. Love her, and she will watch over you. And it is not, first of all, and I guess it's important for me to think about, because I've been reading in the paper this week that I might lose the money that I have invested. It can happen. It will watch over you. I just want to say, since this chapter begins with the psalmist saying, listen, my sons, to a father's instruction, pay attention and gain understanding. I give you sound learning. When I was a boy in my father's house. And just want to ask dads, and of course moms too, are you getting something of this concept across to your kids? As you care for them, as you provide for them, can they tell? Can they tell that you have a deep sense of respect for this godly virtue, wisdom? Can they catch on? And I ask you, and I ask myself, because I'm afraid that my kids didn't catch on. They catch on that it's a passion for you. It's a passion for you to really grasp what God has to give and the meaning that he can lend to your life.